Today I'm going to be doing a card swipe, so I've got an old card and a few colours. So first off I'm going to get a large brush and put some water down. Just gently over the... Now I do have a sort of idea, I've got a bit of a mountain scene in mind. So I'm going to get some Cobalt Blue, some raw umber, some raw sienna, and a little bit of Indian red, just for fun. Indian red is a little bit opaque. Oh, it's quite stiff. There we are. So I've only got a tiny bit of him. So I've got the paint on the card and I'm just going to start giving it a bit of a swipe. And a bit here. So that's pretty much used up. So now I'm getting my trusty bristle brush, dipping in the water, and I'm just going to move some of this about because it's looking a little bit can wipe some off. I like the bristle brush because it's unpredictable. Okay, now I'm going to use quite a thirsty brush, which means that I have made it damp, but then I wipe off the water here, like this. And I just want to move this paint about without getting it too muddy. This is just a first wash. And some of this paint in the foreground I rather like. I like this. And I want to keep that, preserve that white. Wipe some of the sky out. You don't want to move it too much, as I say, because you don't want it to end up too muddy. That's why I'm leaving. The foreground is always stronger and this is the background. So I think that's enough for now. And I'm going to dry it. Okay, this is dry now, so I'm pretty happy with that. It does look a bit of a mess, but it's something to work with. That's what I like about doing an abstract card swipe. So now I'm getting some Paynes Grey. I'll just pop a bit of Paynes Grey into the palette here. And we'll start having some fun. Now, as I said, I've also got some Cobalt Blue in here and some raw sienna in there. So just add a bit of water, get them going. So with my Paynes Grey and my Cobalt Blue, we can start laying in some more washes just for a sort of a... Now this, have in mind, this is a mountain scene, but it's sort of one that I've made up in a sense. I do spend time in the summer in the mountains on the South Island. So I have a sort of an idea in mind. And we're glazing over, this is a good technique, this is glazing over the abstract ground that we laid out. You never know quite what's going to happen, but that's sort of the beauty of it. So I might have some indication of grasses in the front. Indian red, the Indian red mixed with the cobalt blue gives quite a nice darkish purpley grey, so he'd be quite good for a hillside, a bit of a closer hillside. I don't want the edges too hard at the minute. And we'll go for a little bit more. Now in valleys you get this mist that's lying, and actually we could use some of this lighter paper here for mist. So I'm going to leave that. I want a bit of a bank there, a bit of an indication. Raw sienna into the dark red and lay that in there. You do get these lovely goldy colours out in the landscape. And we'll bring some down here, just flood that across there. And into here. I feel this is sort of wants to be water. So we sort of want to sweep that round and take our eye back, otherwise we're going to sort of shoot out of the paper. Don't know if I really want that very angular line, so look, we can just wipe that out. Get a bit of tissue paper, soften that away, and then we can come, when that's dry, we can come and pop something in on top of it. So I'm pretty pleased with how this is looking at the minute. Make a light grey, maybe put a few clouds in, a bit of water just to maybe the clouds are drifting over here. Okay, so this is sort of stage 2. Just make that a bit more horizontal, I feel. That's nice. So now I'm going to dry this. Okay, this is stage, we've done a wash, we've done a sort of a glaze, and now this is the tidy up stage. I don't really like this sharp edge here. That's what I was looking at. So I'm going to shift it with a bit of water and a little bristle. So I'm happy with that. I might just dab it off. Okay, I like this grey in here, so I might just try and make some more of that. That was the Paynes Grey with the Cobalt Blue in it, and just float that across here. That's too dark and it's not blue enough. That's more course, this will dry lighter, but I just wanted to sweep that through there, just so it didn't jump out so much. Just take it across there. Blend that edge a little bit. I like these and I like this. Maybe not that there. So we can, because that will distract our eye, so we can just take him out just to the edge as well. You don't want anything on the edge that's really, like here, pulling your eye in a finished piece. So we'll just wipe that out, give it a bit more colour. Okay, so I like what's going on. I just need to, I was talking about water, so I'll get a little bit of the Cobalt Blue and see if we can run that into here. Might be. And just gently, again, I don't really want this hard line, so we'll, and I do want to sort of a little bit of something going on here. Get a bit more of the colour going on. Just something for the eye to enjoy if it looks down here. Not too much, we don't want too much value jump there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some cobalty greeny teal colour just to feed through there, because I think that will help that corner. Okay, I have my other palette which has this beautiful cobalt teal on it, and I'm just going to float a little bit of this through here. Maybe float it back there as well, just so it, your eye will follow that little bit of colour and will just give the idea of the little pattern, a little pattern of water. The paper actually does have a bit of a pattern in it, and that's quite nice, because that's sort of to my mind it's the bank, it's a shale bank. So what I might just do now, put that away, get my other little palette back, is this is quite a hard line, so I might just soften that a little bit because it's pulling my eye a little bit, and then I'm going to put a wee bit of maybe a grayer definition along there. That might be too, that might be too much. Just wipe that away. Put that there. Just little delicate things we're doing now. Just going to pat that off. Soften that edge. Put a tiny bit of Sienna back in. Along there. I think I need a little bit darker. It sort of falls away off the edge there a bit, so I might just bring some sort of gradate it from up in here down. I quite like that, so I'm going to finish here. I'll pull the tape and then we'll come back. So here's our finished piece, and I'm quite pleased with that. Now that I've pulled the tape, it really gives such a good border. And I like things like this nice little hard edge there bleeding away. We've got some soft edges going on here. We've got sort of the idea of cloud or mist sitting in the valley. This is our valley. We've got a sort of a shale bank, a bit of foreground. I did go in with this script liner and put a few sort of indications of grasses, I suppose. I like this bit of little abstract idea of this is sort of water and then running down here. I quite like that verticality. So I'm quite pleased. So this was just a beginner session of how you can start with quite an abstract mess, dry it off, and then go back and layer on the top. I hope you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Happy painting!